Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 40 of the Comic Room Pod. I am your host, Spro, and with me, as always, but not for long, at least in person, Mr. Longbox.
What's up?
Welcome, guys. This is our last couple episodes of in person before episodes change a little bit. Mr. Longbox is going on a month-long international business trip.
5 weeks.
He's gonna be gone 5 weeks, so
5 weeks.
We'll just be doing probably like a Skype type.
I'm gonna be in Italy, so I will see if I can Skype from the Colosseum or maybe the Vatican. It's been in the news lately.
Yeah, go. Why don't you go put in your bid?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw. I could do it. Throw my what do you call that? The Cardinals hat into the ring.
So yeah, we got this week and the next week, and then after that we'll do. This only really matters for video watchers, but I know that we try to make a point to have a really nicely produced comic pod. So when you just see Skype for the next few weeks, at least you know why. Audio listeners, I don't know, there might be a dip in audio quality, but
or if you hear Italian being spoken behind me, that's why.
You know why. But yeah, so anyways, we appreciate you guys clicking on this. You can follow us on Instagram. I'm at Spros_comics. He's at Mr. Longbox. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're following Mr. Longbox if you want to see some Italy pictures, I suppose.
I'm gonna be on the lookout for some Fantastic Quattro things like that. I'm gonna definitely get some international books while I'm there.
That'll be cool. I think that's about it today. We got a few things. We got show and tell as usual. Got a handful of news this week. Mm-hmm. Thunderbolts, which I have seen, Mr. Longbox hasn't, and then I assume we'll probably have sometime after that. Maybe not. So I don't know. We'll probably just go with the flow after that.
Yeah.
And I do have a really cool piece of I guess I have a story to share that coincidentally lines up with what's on the wall. It wasn't intended, but it all lines up. So I'll get into that.
Oh, all right. I'm intrigued.
After the news. So let's get into some show and tell.
Yes.
Before we do that, here on the floor, or let me.
Don't break it.
Okay. I think I showed you guys last week this. So I unboxed it on my Twitch stream. So here he is, Black Suit Spider-Man. A comic fit back here, so I put a Spidey comic that I have. But I got to look for a black suit one.
Yeah.
Or I was trying to look for a reprint of Spider-Man 8 at my LCS, but I couldn't find one. So yeah, there's that.
That's cool.
That's just what it looks like outside of the box. But all right, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
All right. You have no idea that I bought this book.
Ooh.
This is a new trend of mine where I break a book out that I haven't told you about, and this book is now the favorite book in my collection.
Oh,
and it's not close.
Batman 1,
which
has to be.
I couldn't get Batman 1 because it's too expensive, but Batman 3 splash page is the first Catwoman in an actual costume, but it isn't Batman 3 either. Big shock, right? This is I'm not going to give a big introduction. I will show it and then I'll talk about what it is. This is Famous Funnies issue number 10.
Whoa.
In a 0.5, incomplete, missing 2 pages. And that's why it's a 0.5.
Cool.
There it is. Let's check that out. And now I have to explain it. Some of you know I
Brittle
teach,
Pages.
Yeah. And Brittle Pages. I saw someone commented that they liked my comment that in the last podcast that I'm going to be seeking out Brittle Pages. I got another one, you guys. I found another Brittle Pages. Victory. But anyway, let me get my glasses on for this. As some of you know, I teach writing and journalism, things like that at the university level. And one of the classes I teach is a graphic novel. And in that class, I teach... And part of it is the history of the comic book. Mm-hmm. What I have in my hand right here, Famous Funnies issue number 10, and I was able to verify this and look this up. The date of this is May of 1935.
Wow.
This in my hand is the 15th comic book ever produced.
Wow.
Period. Not 15th issue, 15th whatever, 15th in America. It's the 15th comic book.
Wow, amazing.
I'm going to put this here for now. And I have all this written down because I thought it was so cool. I'm going to switch into professor mode just first. So bear with me, you guys, but this is really cool.
You guys better pass the pop quiz at the end.
That's right. There's a quiz at the end. The first comic book that's in this format, that's pulp, that's got the binding that we're all accustomed to. I'm not talking about things from the Platinum Age that are like hardcover, yellow kid and McFadden flats. Those aren't. They're forerunners of this, but this is the first comic book format, right? 1933, Funnies on Parade. No number. It was created because this guy had this printing press and he makes money when it runs, and it doesn't always run. It's like, well, let me just reprint some of these, get permission to reprint the comic strips that are showing up in the newspapers, and I'll give them away. He gave them to some company that gave them away. So that's why Funnies on Parade. It's got no number. It came out in 1933. It wasn't made for resale. It was all reprints. That's the first comic book ever produced. Second comic book, and there's consensus on that. Second one is Famous Funnies Zero. We call it Zero now, but it had no number. It's called Famous Funnies: A Carnival of Comics. That also came out in 1933 because they said, hey, it worked for this dude, so let's try it, right? And that was the second comic book. And then, because it was successful, Famous Funnies went on a run. And Famous Funnies is the first comic book title to ever, first comic book title that was a continuing series. They were reprints of newspaper stuff. So those are the first two. Famous Funnies 1 through 6 would be comic book comic book numbers 3 through 8 in the history. And then after Famous Funnies 6, New Fun Comics produces at the same time as Famous Funnies 7, New Fun issue number 1 in February 1935. That's the first comic book that wasn't reprinted. It was original art and stories for that comic book. And that's a very valuable comic book also because it's one of the originals, right? Yeah. And then so New Fun and Famous Funnies are both now running. So you have from issues Famous Funnies 8 and 9 coincide with New Fun issue number 2 and 3. And then comes this book. Famous Funnies issue number 10. Think about that for a second. There's only 14 other comic books ever preceded this book.
So, is this the first appearance of fishing in comics?
I mean, it's pretty much anything, right? I guess I got to do my research. Almost anything in it's going to be has a good shot of being the first anything.
That's really cool.
And so it's something that I can't wait to bring to class and show in my class. But more than anything else, it's the history of it. I don't care about the grade.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's missing 2 pages. It's not a continuous story. It's like 50 pages of just reprinting
random
comics. Yeah. So if there's 2 pages missing, oh well, Yeah. I know some people are really sticklers about complete, incomplete. There's only 19 of these on the census in any grade. So like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, good luck. Good luck finding one. I mean, you can.
Right.
So I was watching, what was the name of that you mentioned it, or you were able to name it for me because I couldn't remember the name of the auction where the Detective 27 sold.
Oh, Landry Pop?
Yeah, the Landry Pop. They had some Famous Funnies books.
Yeah.
They didn't have issue 10, but they had a few others. And they were, random conditions. But one of them was like issue 30 something, and it went for like $500. It was like a 5.5. Anyway, this book and that same one that went for $550 were both on sale. They were up on eBay. And I watched them, and I thought, well, this is kind of cool. Like, I don't think I want to pay as much as it's going to cost, but I'm just kind of curious. The day the auction was going to end, this book was sitting at $31.
Oh my gosh.
That's not possible. That's impossible. And the other one wasn't much higher. It was like $60. So, but they were both ending at the exact same second, which is, I think if you're selling on eBay, that's not a good idea because I would have liked to have bid on both.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to bid on one. Like I had to pick, Yeah. But I went with the early one because that's really what I wanted.
Sure.
So I'm sitting at the cafeteria at my university. It was hilarious. My phone had several other the faculty members at the table with me, and they all know that I'm interested in this book. And I'm sitting there, and I waited, and it went up from 31, then it went to 34, then it went to 36. So there were a few bidders on it.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm going to bid. I don't want to spend more than this. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but I'm going to bid like 205. If somebody gets it for 210, I'm going to kind of be frustrated, but at the same time, if I spent 500 on it, it would have been a lot, but I might still not have regretted it because of how old it was. So I wait and I put my $205 bid in with 3 seconds ago. And then if you guys have ever bought on eBay, when you do that, you have to wait for it. It'll say, okay, the winner's being determined. Just hang on a second. It was just interminably long time. It seriously took like 30 seconds for it, which is really long, right? And I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And then I get the thing and it's green. So I know I had won it. Say, congratulations, you won, whatever. $45.
Oh my gosh.
$45. $45.
That's crazy.
That's not even lunch with if you and I go to Jersey Mike's, it's $45. I mean, are you joking right now? I mean, all right, no shade on Jersey Mike's. It's probably $25 we go to Jersey Mike's. Or maybe 30. But if I take Debbie to lunch or dinner, $50 is you're not even to dessert yet, right?
Yeah.
For that book right there. So I was gonna be happy. I would have been happy at 200, but I was ecstatic at $45.
That's crazy.
And the other one that went for like 400 or 500 on the Landry Pop, that thing only went for like 89. So sometimes, and you guys know this, sometimes you can get lucky on eBay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can.
That's why I say when I'm selling books, if there's an anomaly price, most of the time it's eBay. Because most of the time, it's an eBay bid, and that's why I don't match like anomaly low or like high sales, because it's like, and it's funny when people would tell me like, oh man, like, well, it last sold for $46. It's like, yeah, we all wish we could have got it for $46.
Yeah,
somebody got lucky. It's not us. None of us are getting lucky in this room with this book.
I know. I just tanked the value of this book. Like it's already on Go Collect. It's already saying the last sale was April 25th at $45, and I'm like, It sold for more than that in like 5 years ago, and the same price 10 years ago.
Wow.
But it's just one of those things. There's nothing inherently collectible about the characters in it or anything like that. It's the 15th comic book ever published.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, it's a top 10 of famous funnies. Yes, it's, and you know how CGC is. If it's going to be a blue label and it's incomplete, it has to be a 0.5.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like a 0.5. Look at that book. It looks.
Yeah, it's probably in the fives.
Yeah,
maybe?
I would say so. And
some staining. So.
Yeah, some staining. It's 1935. Look at the back. In the back, they're advertising. There's an NRA advertisement on the back of this. Just so you know, times have changed. This book, if you want to get a Daisy BB gun, you can get one for $3 in 1935. This was the middle of the Depression.
Yeah,
it's weird to think about.
Yeah, before World War II.
Yeah, 1935.
World War II is 39.
For us, yeah, and maybe like 37, 38 in Europe, but for us, not even until like 42. Like whatever Pearl Harbor was, we didn't even get into it. But yeah, it was before the Olympics where Jesse Owens went to Berlin and Hitler was there. So no, World War II wasn't. There were tensions, but it hadn't started yet. And somehow,
who was president?
FDR, Roosevelt.
Wow.
Franklin Roosevelt was president. So I mean, think about it. I don't know why 2 pages are missing. Probably because there was something cool and the guy like tore the 2 pages out. But then after that, it was just like taken really good care of. Just
it is.
All this time.
I mean, I think I'm most impressed by the fact that there's no like pieces missing from the cover.
Yeah.
There's a spine split and then a small tear, but it's just like dirty.
No silverfish damage. No mold. No. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if it's a hardcover book. Now it's not really considered old unless it's from the 17, 16, 1500s, and those books are in good condition. But those are meant to last.
Yeah.
These are comic books published on pulp paper that were getting sold for 10 cents as an afterthought just to keep the printing presses running during the slow times. So that's true comic book history. I know that a lot of things are comic book history, but that was one of the things I remember I told you. I don't know if I went on the record for it, but I said one of the things I really want to get this year in my collection is a book from the 30s. I don't have one. Now I do. And I'm not a completionist with this one right here. I think I'm done looking for books from the 30s. I got mine. It's one of the iconic titles, Famous Funnies. Everybody knows Famous Funnies was one of the talk about OG, right?
You don't want Famous Funnies 1 through 9 to complete the run?
I saw Famous Funnies 1. It's on eBay right now for like $11,000.
Jeez.
Buy it now price, which when you think about it is stupidly cheap compared to other stuff.
Sure.
But it's relative, right?
Yeah.
But Famous Funnies 1 It's still not the first one. It would only be the second one. So I'd rather go Funnies on Parade, but forget about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's my favorite. Tomorrow might be another favorite in my collection, but I know that it's truly a one of a kind for me. Like I'm it's going to serve a lot of purposes in my collection. Like there's no point in selling it.
Yeah.
Like, so someday it'll be yours because I'm not selling it. But it's a cool book, man.
Man, crazy.
Yeah. Really excited about that book.
So this might be a first time ever where we both have a Golden Age book for show and tell.
Wow. Okay.
Actually, I know it's the first time ever because this is my only Golden Age book, I think. I don't have any other Golden Age books aside from this one.
You better watch out because I'm telling you, if you get bitten by the Golden Age bug, it's hard to go back. It's not hard to go back, but Golden Age is really fun to pursue.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what you got.
So yours is the 15th comic of all time. And mine is also a very significant first appearance.
Wow.
So this is, I found this because I was looking for Flash comics. Oh, I don't remember the issue, but it's like where Jay Garrick, you guys remember last year I was collecting like towering covers.
Yes.
He's like stretched out from the city. I think he's like grabbing like a helicopter or something. And he's just like really like big, like way bigger than the skyscrapers in the city skyline. And it's like it's a darker cover. It's really cool. I saw it on a claim sale. I should have claimed it. It was maybe a few months ago. It was like a 4045 for 450. And I was like going back and forth. And someone put an offer for 400 and they got it. And now I regret it because I just can't find the book.
Yeah.
I should have just claimed it. But anyway, so when I was looking for that, I came across this book. This is Flash Comics, issue 52. This is the first appearance of artificial intelligence in comics.
That's crazy.
This is a low grade. This would probably be 0.5 because the whole cover is detached. The front and back cover are there, but it's being held by tape. But it's like just completely
could
split.
be a 1.0 because my Human Torch has that same thing. Remember?
Yeah. So yeah, maybe a 1.0. I don't think there's any pages missing. The description didn't say, but yeah, this is the first appearance of AI in comics.
Read the thing there. What it says.
Yeah, down here on the bottom right, it says the Flash and the case of the machine that thinks like a man. And then you can see that machine there on the cover. So this is just like
that's a sweet book.
This is a crazy. I never even like thought of that as a thing. But it's noted on. I think it's noted on Key Collector.
Yeah, it says the mechanical brain right there.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you see where it says DC, a Superman publication?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I ever noticed that.
I actually noticed that today.
Wow.
So I got this for I think it was like $130 on eBay, which I thought was ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
For the first appearance of AI, and think about that from from this comes Ultron and just so many other characters.
Yeah. It's 1940, mid 40s, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't have much to say. Everybody knows about AI.
Have you opened it and read the story yet?
No, I haven't.
It's scary to do, but you got to do it, man.
I have opened it because I was curious exactly how the cover was detached, but then I tried to put it into a Mylar, but it's too big even for a Golden Age Mylar. So I got to put it into like a magazine.
Yeah,
Mylar.
You got to get a Mylar magazine bag or something.
Yeah, so
or just send it in and get slabbed.
Yeah, maybe.
What a great book.
So yeah, this is really cool. There's not really anything like it. So I'll put this back here.
Oh, okay.
Because I have my Wanda comic on the wall.
Okay. I love Golden Age for there's so many reasons to love Golden Age, but one of the things that I love most about it, the collector in me, is the genuineness of the scarcity. It's like you were saying, you saw that one towering Flash on a claim sale and somebody else nabbed it. And then you're like, well, I want to get that book, but it's not the same as it is with even Silver Age. You might want the book, but it just isn't being offered yet. Not like it won't be offered,
yeah,
but you have to wait.
And if you miss it, you can just go to eBay and find a copy.
Yeah.
I can't.
Not with these.
There's a couple like I think it's like a 7.5. I'm forgetting the issue number, but of that Flash Comics one, but it's like crazy expensive. It's a what's his name? Carmine Infantino.
Oh yeah.
He did the cover on that
Must
one.
be a pretty early cover because I think of him as the like late Silver Age, Gold, Bronze Age stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to find, and then it changes your perspective on grading too.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're like, wow, it's a 3.5. That's amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I mean, we live in the age of AI right now. I mean, AI is, it's everywhere.
It's odd for a Golden Age book to ever be a spec book at this point.
Yeah.
But that is a spec.
That
book.
might be a sleeper book.
A literal Golden Age sleeper, which is like an albatross, like the rarest, not an albatross. It's like a unicorn to find something in the Golden Age that hasn't been already vetted and figured out.
Yeah.
But here we are. And you said it's already noted, first appearance. Yeah.
When you said albatross, it totally jogged my memory. I forgot I got an albatross one time in golf.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's better than an eagle, right?
Yeah, so it's
a double birdie.
Yeah, you can only get it on a par 5, and you basically have to hole out. So what I did was I hit my drive into the fairway, and then I had my 3-wood, and I hit my 3-wood, and my 3-wood, I'm like 225 yards away from the hole, and boom, rolled on the green, went in.
So you walked up to the green, you're like, where'd my ball go?
Oh no, I could see it because the green actually like sloped up, so you can actually see.
Oh wow, you got to watch it.
So I got to watch it going because if it's flat or if it goes downhill, you're like, okay. You know, your thought is, and especially when you're just like an average golfer, you're like, that probably rolled off the back of the green.
Right. Yeah.
But even I saw it go in, and I mean, me and the guy I was playing, we didn't believe it. I was like, nah, dude, there's no way.
You ever think about what a crazy nomenclature for golf? Like a birdie is 1 under.
Yeah.
Then you have an eagle, which is 2 under, and an albatross. Like what's an albatross is a kind of a bird.
Yeah.
But it's like a big bird.
Yeah.
I only know it from the poem about the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, where the albatross is like this dead thing hanging around this sailor's neck. You know, I think of it as a negative.
Yeah.
And I guess that works for golf because it's a -3 on your score. Like it's wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, I've never. I don't think I've ever even had a birdie. I'm like, wow, I got a par.
I mean, some days it's like that.
You know.
All right, so let me explain this wall behind because it's a whole lot of. Talk about this before we get into news. We got a whole lot of everything up here. I mean, we got the 3rd appearance of the FF and the first time in their suits, and we got this Nakayama Psylocke cover, and then a random Spider-Man 13.
Yeah, we call that one a marriage killer.
And then she actually chose that one to go on the wall.
Smart man.
I had two Psylocke books, and I asked her I told her to pick one, and she picked that one. And then that one, like second appearance.
Wait, hold on a second. I need to see what the other one looked like. If Dara said put that one on the wall, what did the other one look like?
The other one is actually, this one's worse than the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. But this one had more color and flair.
It is a striking cover.
Yeah.
Nakayama's great.
Yeah. So I mean, we got second appearance of Loki, second appearance of Doom and Submariner in the Silver Age. Crazy stuff up here. We got this signed by Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, how are these connected?
Signed by Steranko. That random New Agents of Atlas, War of the Realms. So these are actually Marvel Rivals significant books.
Really?
So some of them aren't like, I don't have the first appearance of Hulk or really like any Hulk slabs, but that's probably like the most iconic Hulk cover.
Yeah.
So, you know, I threw that one up, and Hulk is a very meta hero in the game. I have the first appearance of Doom. Doom's not a playable character in the game, but he is a character in the lore of the game. Submariner is a very meta player as well. Loki is a very meta player as well. I have a second appearance. Punisher, I play Punisher a good amount of the time, so I got his first appearance. That middle one right there is like the first appearance of Luna Snow.
Yeah.
Who Luna Snow's probably the best healer in the game. And then like a few other Asian and Southeast Asian characters.
Yeah, Silk right here.
And then the FF, the whole crew is in the game.
Yeah.
Even Herbie and the FF car
and Malice
ship is in the game.
The Malice costume.
Yeah, obviously we got Wanda. I'm a Psylocke main in the game. We got Black Panther. First cover of Hela. Hela is one of the best characters in the game. We got Spider-Man. I love that cover. Moon Knight's in the game. So yeah. So
you know about this dude right here? No.
So this wall, I just kind of like, I kind of messed up because Daredevil's over. So I was like, all right, it's time to change the wall. It's been like that for like a month, 2 months now, maybe. So I took all the books off, and then I was like, but I don't know what to put up there. Like I don't have Thunderbolts stuff, and I don't have like Avengers books or anything like that. So I was like, I don't know. And then I think I saw that new Agents of Atlas book first. And I was like, oh, that's the first Luna Snow. I was like, let me just make this a Marvel Rivals
cool.
wall. So I did a lot of streaming on Twitch this week. So that's kind of why I like leaned into it, is so that when they could see on my stream all the books, that they were Marvel Rivals related. But this is the coincidental part. I had somebody call me this week, and they were like, hey, I'd love to schedule an appointment to come by your office. Like, can you let me know like when's a good time? And I was like, yeah, totally. I just came back from some international travel, so you have to like be a little flexible if possible. We like had scheduled one day. They ended up just like missing my message to them, so I ended up just like leaving the office. Then I was like, the first part of this week is a little busy, but if you're around, I can like shoot you a text. Mm-hmm. So they ended up shooting me a text, and they were like, hey, I got off work early, but I was like getting my espresso machine fixed. So he was nice and like waited around. So finally comes to the office. He gives me like a list of books that him and his wife collect together.
Oh, that's fun.
And so I asked him, I was like, yeah, how long have you been collecting? He's like, yeah, not too long, like within the last year. And I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, yeah, but I've always been like appreciative. He's like, I used to, he's in the Navy. So he was like, yeah, like when I was down in San Diego, I used to volunteer at San Diego Comic-Con, and
fun.
He's like, yeah, you can, they let you like roam around in there. He's like, so I've always like liked like, comic, pop culture, anime. Mm-hmm. He goes to all those conventions, he was telling me. So I asked him specifically, I was like, what was it that like made you collect? And that you and your wife collect? And he was like, yeah, Marvel Rivals.
No way.
And I was like, really?
We were talking about that.
And he was like, yeah, we started playing the game. He's like, my wife and I, we really liked it. And we just wanted to start reading. Like just some of the stories.
I love that.
So yeah, he came by. He finished out his Secret Wars run, or I think most of it, because I had from the original set. Because I had a handful. Yeah. And then he bought his wife. Well, his wife wasn't there, but on behalf of his wife, he bought a ton of Fantastic Four.
My man.
Some John Byrne specifically.
Oh yeah.
Like, just like a whole bunch of that. Just kind of like the middle of that run. Mm-hmm. The Nathaniel Richards, his dad. Yeah. Like that part of the run.
That's a good run to get.
So his wife was reading or wanting to read that run.
Yeah, all the time travel stuff.
So, and because of the collection that I bought recently, I had all of them.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
and there's some good minor keys in that run. There's a lot of TVA stuff in there.
Yeah. So none of the TVA stuff was.
But he got Franklin Richards stuff.
First appearance of Nathaniel
Richards, yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I was like, wow, Marvel Rivals brought me business.
And we were talking about, look, anything that generates interest in a hobby is good. It's a good thing. And Marvel Rivals is a, at least for for your generation and younger, absolutely a cultural like rock in the pond. Like it's creating ripples.
Yeah.
And it's now in the iconography of the pop culture. People talk about it as if everybody should know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it everywhere. And now we're seeing the Marvel Rival variants showing up at the LCS. Are you guys buying those? I am.
Yeah.
I'm buying them because I'm buying them kind of on spec, just like, because I think it's cool,
You know what it does too? It is a specific like stamp of time.
Exactly.
When we've talked about how like comics that like historically and like you're more like vintage stuff that like signifies a very specific time.
Yeah.
have like a good like long-term appeal. I won't say investment, but an appeal to people.
Yeah, it's instant tie into nostalgia instantly.
Yeah.
Like people who love to play Marvel Rivals will always want those books.
Yeah.
20 years from now, they're going to want those books.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be worth, but they'll be collectible.
Yeah. I mean, the Jeff book from last year that I bought and then I sold in a $1, like I had like 2 long boxes full of just $1 junk. I threw it in there and now it's a $40 book.
The Land Shark, right?
Yep. Jeff Land Shark. So for any doubters on the power of Marvel Rivals, we live in a small town in SoCal, and somebody in our small town that isn't us was impacted by the game, so much so that they're not going and just buying new comics. They're reading the old stuff. And specifically, like, I even told him, I was like, yeah, like, I have the first appearance of Malice and like the first cover, like if that's something that you guys are looking for, like, because at that point I'm like, oh, let me, like, I play the game, so I know, what's. So I'm like, yeah, I got this, and he was collecting Warlock stuff. I didn't have what he was looking for, but I was like, hey, like, here's the first cover of him. You know, this is like Warlock.
Cool. Yeah.
He didn't go for it. They were like more interested in like stuff to read. But the like the Malice skin in the game is what kind of. They wanted to know, like, why, what's the story? So, Marvel, or in Rivals, they just released Patch and Joe Fixit.
Oh, Joe Fixit
skins, yeah.
Okay.
So those, and I have the first appearance floating around somewhere.
That's what Wolverine 8?
Yeah, and I have the first Joe Fixit too.
I bought the Joe Fixits when they came out last year. The Joe Fixit.
Oh,
comics,
yeah.
But those weren't the first appearance of Joe Fixit.
No, it's like right after the McFarlane run.
Oh, so yeah, I don't have it. I just thought the covers were cool, the Joe Fixit ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun. So, I will say, as a very consistent player of this video game,
you are.
The devs, the people behind making the game, they know the history of comics. Whether it be by research or whether it be they have a team of people that like are just hired for this specific purpose. Then they know that like they build the lore around these characters. I'll read stuff like even in like character lore pieces or like little like lore like you know short like reads that they give you that are like a paragraph or two. Or I'm like shocked because this is not an American. This is a Chinese game.
And they have characters saying things to each other.
Yeah.
That reveal nuanced understanding of the relationships between these characters as shown and developed in the comic books. I've noticed that too. That's exciting because now we always know that movies and television shows are going to drive speculation and generate interest. But now we have a whole nother avenue in this Marvel Rivals game, and we really don't know month to month what the new thing's going to be. Like, I don't know how soon, like we get before a movie comes out, we know way in advance. How soon and how much advance notice do we get?
Yeah.
With probably next to none from a game that's being made in China behind the great wall of information.
Yeah.
And then they just do an upgrade and, oh, there's a new skin, there's a new character, there's a new story referenced, and suddenly we're all running off. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So the Joe Fixit skin in the game, it's a little different than the comic version, kind of like what we're all used to. It's a little bit more like a cyborgy, a little bit more connected to what's going on in the Rivals universe. But the Patch skin is perfect. And I have to say this. Wolverine is one of there's no other character like him in game. He's a character that does damage he does damage percentage based on the health of the person that he's attacking. So he's better against tanks. And what he does is he isolates characters. So he does like his little jump.
Yeah.
And with his claws, he can grab you and move you away. And so if you're a tank, that means you're a bigger character. So I have to like kind of explain this for people who don't know. Tank would be a bigger character with a lot more HP, whose primary job is not to do damage, but to create space so that you can move toward the objective. And so Wolverine, what his job is is basically he can grab you and move you so that now instead of having this big shield in front of the whole team protecting them so they can move forward, that shield is now gone. And now all the people who are like lower HP, like your DPS and supports, DPS being your main damage dealers, now they're vulnerable. And so Wolverine gets banned a decent amount of the time because you can, when you play in competitive, you can ban certain heroes.
Okay.
To like, it helps like balance the game, especially when there's like really broken characters. So he doesn't get banned a lot, but he does sometimes. And he's a character that gets banned purely because he can really, really shift momentum of a game by displacing your tank.
Yeah. Okay.
And this patch skin, this is what blew me away. This patch skin is perfect and it's free. It's free in the game. I don't play Wolverine. If they release the patch skin, the patch skin for like 15, 20 bucks, whatever, I would have bought it even though I don't play because patch is sick and it's such a good skin and they're giving it away for free. I'm like, what in the world? Like, this is crazy.
I love it. I don't play the game, but you've shown me some things about the game and I watched the videos that you and Dara put out on the game. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I liked to watch the animation of how how the thing does, smashes stuff, for example. So that's awesome, man. Who knows where they're going to go with this?
Yeah. I mean,
it's generating interest.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, if you want to watch me play, you can watch me live, twitch.tv/IamSpro. And I do have another YouTube account that you guys probably don't know about. I think it's youtube.com/@Spro. And that.
If you want to watch me play, you just got to come over to my house. I'll have a Coke, soda and chips for you, but that's all I can offer.
All right. So, Marvel Rivals. Don't underestimate it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's having an impact.
Time to move on to some news.
All right. Let's hear it.
So there's going to be a little bit of conflicting information with what I say here with some confirmed stuff later, but I'm just going to say this. So Chris Claremont was at Huntsville Pop Culture Expo 2025. And this tweet says, Marvel Comics writer Chris Claremont was doing a panel and he claimed that the upcoming Avengers films will feature the return of Psylocke, Wolverine killing someone important, Elizabeth Olsen as a good Scarlet Witch, Robert Downey Jr. as multiple characters, including Iron Man, and Chris Evans as multiple characters, including an evil Captain America. So those last two about RDJ and Chris Evans, kind of stuff we had at least already assumed. But the return of Psylocke is like cool. We only got her in one movie. Yeah. And Wolverine killing someone important. Don't know what that means, but guess we'll see.
Yeah, nice. Well, I mean, it's coming from Claremont. I tend to believe it.
Yeah. So Psylocke's first appearance is like really hard to kind of nail down because she makes her first appearance in a Captain Britain. It's Betsy Braddock.
Yeah, Betsy Braddock. Yeah.
And then Psylocke changes to I'm forgetting her other name, the Japanese name that she has. It's a different character. And that's in like X-Men something. I don't remember. So, but neither of them are like super valuable. So
really,
you could get a first appearance of Psylocke. It's just a matter of like which is going to be the one that, because there's like the first appearance of the new person who is Psylocke, and it's like the first appearance of her as like she's kind of a manipulated villain, and then it's her first appearance as like an actual hero.
I would say, having not seen either comic, my first gut instinct is the one with the cooler cover.
Yeah,
that has a lot to do with it.
Sure,
but I would also say the precedent's already there in not quite the same, but with the first appearance of Bullseye, which we all think of as Daredevil 131, but Bullseye as a character also appears in like Nick Fury's in one of those runs.
Oh, really?
But it's not Poindexter. It's somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think it's a Strange Tale. Sorry, I think it's Strange Tales. Nobody really, I won't say nobody cares about it, but nobody disputes that Daredevil 131 is the one you want. it's the same character. It has the same powers, but this is the one we know. And so I'm going to go with the X-Men.
Yeah.
Unless Captain Britain has a much cooler cover, which I doubt.
No, I don't even know that she's on it. And she's not in like her, like this is the suit that's like iconic with Psylocke. And I think it's a little different for Betsy Braddock. And those are like magazine. I don't even think it's magazine size. It might be, but those Captain Britons are like a lot different in size. Yeah. So
I've been getting magazines lately.
Really?
I bought Vampirella 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in like a VF near mint condition.
Wow.
First appearance of Emily, but with a V. She's like the cousin of Vampy.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't know. I have Vampirella 3, which is a very low distribution. But when it comes to Vampy 1, I don't think I'm going to buy it because it's too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, vampires are popular right now with the new movie Sinners, the Ryan Coogler movie.
That's true.
So, all right, next piece of news. So there's a lot of like, I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago we talked about how, what's his name? Colin Farrell was cast as Sergeant Rock, and that they were going to do a movie. DC was going to do a Sergeant Rock movie. So Deadline reported that Sergeant Rock halts pre-production. They're now eyeing a summer 2026 production start. So that's Deadline, a reputable source. But a lot of leakers have come out and said this movie is canned.
Oh.
So maybe they're just leading with it's been postponed.
Start with the delay and then see what the response is.
So yeah, I don't know. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. I have some I have some theories about kind of with the upcoming Superman, and there's a lot of rumors going around right now, and this doesn't help those rumors. I'll say that. So next up, somebody commented on a James Gunn post, Instagram post, and they said Superman trailer 2.5 coming out soon. James Gunn responded, "You haven't even seen trailer 1.0 yet. You've only seen a teaser and a sneak peek. I can't wait to show you guys the trailer."
Oh,
that makes sense because we actually haven't heard any dialogue or like any indications of plot.
Yeah, zero plot. Yeah, we don't know anything.
So yeah, that trailer is not out yet. So that
it's getting on time though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's May.
Yeah. So that's May like 12th or 14th is supposedly the day that they're going to like, where it's going to be like, you can't turn in not see it. Like it's going to be the start of their full like marketing push.
I'll be able to tell you what how hard they're marketing it in Italy.
Yeah. So with that, apparently this is one of the rumors that's going on. There's some tension between James Gunn and Warner Brothers because James Gunn wants to market this movie as James Gunn's Superman, but Warner Brothers wants just the Superman team to remove James Gunn from the marketing and for it to just lead with Superman. And there's been reports that like James Gunn has thrown fits or whatever. I don't know. These are just kind of rumors and allegations, I suppose, that he's being a baby. But honestly, it makes sense. And when I went to go see Thunderbolts, the first words that you see on screen in the Superman trailer are from James Gunn. So it's like it's Superman laying in the snow, and he's just laying there, and then it like cuts to something else, and it just says from James Gunn. Then it cuts to another scene, and then it cuts to more words, and it says the director of the Guardians trilogy or something like that. So, and that was the first teaser that they released. And so when I saw that when I was in the theater, I was like, oh, yeah, they lead with James Gunn essentially. So, they also made him cut 20 minutes off the movie. So there's a lot of
man, that usually doesn't bode well.
Yeah.
When the producers are telling the director what to do.
Yeah.
Not normally good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
I want to hear that.
There's been a couple rumors of like the plot. We don't really know what's true and what's not. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see when the movie comes out. I read a couple of these leaked plots. They've both been really bad. So I hope that both of them are not true. But one of them specifically, and this is where it's tough because it's like we've seen trailers, so people can just kind of infer from the trailers and make up their own storylines. So, but one of them in particular actually kind of lines up with a handful of the things that we've seen in the trailer. So I hope that it's just some troll out there inferring and not actually, because if it is true, then it also connects with the whole James Gunn thing. I won't say it here, but maybe I'll mention it to you after because, but it does line up the leaked plot and what we've seen in the trailer, and now Warner Brothers trying to get James Gunn to take his name away. Like it all connects. So, yeah, but I won't, because that's like super spoilers for a movie we're still 2 months out for, so I won't talk about that stuff yet.
All right.
Batman 2 has been listed on Production Weekly, so that means that there's still hope. So we all thought we lost hope.
Please, every time you mention Batman 2, I'm expecting another delay. I thought you were going to tell me.
All right. So a couple weeks ago, we had a long live stream of the Avengers Doomsday Cast. Well, we got the rest of it.
Yes.
So I'm going to run through it.
Everybody lives.
Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner, Benedict Wong as Wong, Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, Don Cheadle as James Rhodes, Karen Gillan as Nebula, Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton, Hawkeye, Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, Denai Guerrera as Okoye, Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, Ke Huy Quan as Ouroboros, Tiona Paris as Monica Rambeau, Will Poulter as Adam Warlock, Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, Sophie Gomez as America Chavez, Sophie DiMartino as Sylvie, Lady Loki, Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk, Yahya Abdul-Mateen as Wonder Man, Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang, Wunmi Mosaku as B-15 from the Loki show, Lashana Lynch as Maria Rambeau, Famke Janssen as Jean Grey from the OG X-Men, Halle Berry as Storm, Kai Zen as Phyla from Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Wait, Halle Berry is playing Storm. Remember when she said she would never do it? We were talking about that.
Yeah.
And then she said it's never going to happen.
Yep.
Interesting.
Kai Zen, Phyla, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Owen Wilson, Mobius, Chris Pratt, Peter Quill, Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury, Charlize Theron as Clea, Benedict Cumberbatch, Stephen Strange, Haley Atwell, Peggy Carter, Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon, Vin Diesel as Groot, Maria Bakalova as Cosmo the dog. Now, remember earlier we talked about Chris Claremont talking about Scarlet Witch. So here are names that have not been mentioned on the list. No Tom Holland as Spider-Man. No Evangeline Lilly as Wasp. No Paul Bettany as Vision. No Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. No Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. No May Kalamawai as the Scarlet Scarab. And no Charlie Cox as Daredevil or John Bernthal as Punisher.
How are they going to, even with the ones that were mentioned?
How do you make a movie?
I don't understand. Like, you just mentioned half of the ones that we... What is this?
Yeah.
Like, is there just going to be one massive scene where the camera pans across everybody and so that's what we get?
I mean...
They can't, even if they all had one line of dialogue, that's the whole movie.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. We'll see what happens.
What's the budget for this?
It's got to be insane.
These guys, it doesn't matter if they have much to do with the movie or not. If they're appearing in it at all, it's $10 million just off the top.
Yeah.
So they could just to be able to put their name on the poster.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably a $300 to $500 million budget.
I am very intrigued by that amount of cast, and we don't know that those ones that haven't been mentioned won't show up.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? I mean, what's stopping them?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute. No, we already know the Fantastic Four is there. At least most of them.
Yeah.
We already got
they were
that.
in the first one.
Wow. This is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it is
going to be
gonna
some kind of like montage scene real quick or what?
I don't know.
Are they just going to show old footage that they've already shot from other movies and paste it in? like as a like looking through the time warp and the time. What do you call it? The timelines.
Yeah, maybe. I have no guesses. I have none.
Well, this is gonna be. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be.
Avengers, man. Of course.
Ryan Reynolds is currently writing a Deadpool X-Men team-up film. People are saying that this was like calling it like an X-Force movie.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
The film would include 3 to 4 X-Men members, while Deadpool would be a supporting character in the film. Reynolds has still not pitched the idea to Marvel.
Is Cable going to be in it?
I don't know. He's still writing it, so
that'd be cool.
Maybe he's still out there. That was reported from THR, the Hollywood Reporter. So, yeah,
okay.
That means that Ryan Reynolds is at least committed to writing it.
Yeah,
and so if Marvel likes it, I'm sure they'll take it.
It was a $1 billion success story, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
If Ryan Reynolds wants to write something, they'll make a movie.
Yeah, I mean, all of them have been, except for the second one. I think maybe even the second one's. The first one made $1 billion. The third one made $1 billion. The second one might have made $1 billion. I mean, they might just give him the green light anyway.
They're just gonna keep doing it until it doesn't make $1 billion, like 3 times in a row. Then they'll stop. So he's got house money right now.
Yeah. All right. Last couple of pieces of news. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Kevin Feige reportedly told Marvel colleagues that watching every new MCU project had begun to feel more like homework than entertainment. Employees talk regularly about Marvel fatigue and worry they've created a no new fans club where new viewers have no clue what's going on. So just the amount of movie lore.
Well, I haven't watched Thunderbolts yet, but what I did do is watch a couple videos in preparation to watch Thunderbolts because I don't remember all the, you know, all the, where did all these characters leave off, and so that I can try to pick up the storylines from where they are. So yeah, I do get that.
Yeah.
So what's the solution? Fantastic Four, right? There's no homework need to be done for that.
Yeah.
Show up.
Yeah, literally. That's it.
So anyway.
Last one here. This is from the Wall Street Journal again. Kevin Feige has told Marvel colleagues that he has a 10-year plan for the X-Men. So it's like after...
that sounds like homework to me.
Or starting out, at least. Starting fresh. So it sounds like Doomsday and Secret Wars will probably be at least backseating the Avengers and Avengers characters and then putting X-Men in the driver's seat. So...
Okay.
When will Fantastic Four be in the driver's seat?
Yeah, come on.
We want them in the driver's seat.
But they belong in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
So yeah, that's all the news. Now we got Thunderbolts. Yeah. Which you've already revealed you haven't seen.
That's right.
I've seen it, and I'll say I'm already planning to see it again.
Good. I had a little sneak peek because I had to drive home from out of town with Dara last night, and she didn't say much about it, wanting to keep it fresh, but she did say that you guys liked it.
Yeah, we did. It was, man, I don't know. It was just different, just completely different than any Marvel or DC movie. It was done incredibly well.
Is there a main?
Yeah, it's hard because I don't know how to talk because I don't want to spoil it for you.
No, you spoil it for me. It's okay. Yeah, I don't mind. It won't matter. I'll still enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Does the movie focus on one character more than another among the Thunderbolts? Would you say?
So it actually kind of focuses on, and I think what makes this work really well is it focuses on one central issue that all of these characters share.
Okay.
So it's kind of about like mental health and like struggling to find purpose in life. So the main character of the movie is far and away Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova. Okay. Which I was not expecting and was
probably a good decision. She's really good. She's very talented.
She's a great actress. I haven't seen what's that one movie? Midsummer. I haven't seen Midsummer. Apparently she's like really good in that.
Yeah, that's dark, man.
Yeah, I haven't seen Oppenheimer.
With your eyes closed.
But I've seen her in some other, like I've seen her in Little Women. I've seen her in Dune, and some other things, but I haven't seen like movies where she's led, like in Midsummer. I feel like they didn't market this movie as like a Florence Pugh led movie, so it was like I said, pleasantly surprised to kind of see that she was just the one driving the plot forward. She did an excellent job, and I told Dara this. I was like, and she agreed with me. Just so you know, I'm not being some sexist.
That's right.
Just alt-right online degenerate. I was like, I feel like this is how you should be doing, like, female-led movies. And so I told her, I was like, you don't market it as like this all-woman, like women empowerment. You just let it happen. Like, sure, there's some movies, maybe like Die Hard, where it's like it's very much like manliness coming across, right?
Yeah.
But if it's just like a movie, like comparing it to the Marvels, like the Marvels just make such a point on being like we're women and like we're strong and you know we do those things.
Yeah.
But they make it so on the nose and clear that immediately you put so much of the audience in a position where they feel like they have to either go against it or defend it in like a very aggressive way. But when you just have this movie and you're just like, yeah, Thunderbolts. And then you go in there and you're like, oh, this is actually kind of a Yelena Belova movie. And Florence Pugh's like leading the way the whole time. And it's done so well. And you don't put your audience in a position where you're like, oh, I'm a super feminist or I'm a super anti-feminist or like whatever it is. It's just like, no, this is a piece of art that's led by a woman that's really, really good. And I feel like generally movies with like male leads, they're not like pushed or like marketed as like a man again, unless it's like Die Hard or something like that.
Roadhouse, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like something that's like specifically directed at dudes. So
well, that's good.
Yeah, I thought it was like great. There were two times where my eyes got watery, and then one time where it got me good.
Really?
Yeah, Darren and I good.
I'm actually not surprised because what I do know about the movie is you have a collection of characters that all are coming into it from their story arcs heading into this movie. They're all kind of adrift. They're all looking for redemption. They're all hurting. So you have the potential for emotional payoff moments seeded into the movie. And so I'm hoping, and I think you just confirmed it, that the movie leans into that.
Yeah, there's definitely like some emotional beats like throughout the movie that are like just very moving. And it all just leads up to just this one moment in particular that's just like really, really powerful. And for me, like so Sentry, also I couldn't help but think of you almost the entire movie because Sentry's name is Robert Reynolds.
Yeah, Bob.
But he goes by Bob. So there's so many times, like the movie is hilarious, but like it's as emotional and moving as it is so funny. Like there's movies where there's moments where John Walker is just like shut up, Bob, no one's listening to you. Or like he'll just like have quippy lines like that.
What happened to my name? You know, Robert was a respectable name. And then all of a sudden, somewhere in like the 90s, you'd see the Far Side comics and some dude would be lying face up in a parking lot. It would say, Bob, needing a part-time job, took one as a speed bump. You know, suddenly Bob got attached to these sort of
SpongeBob.
Like Bob became sort of a comical name.
Yeah.
And so when you call somebody Bob, you know, or even the one like 12 Monkeys, the one character's like calls Bruce Willis Bob, hey Bob, you know, this voice that he hears, like it's always got to be Bob, you know, or what about Bob? There's another movie.
Bob, yeah. So there's some funny lines where they're like talking to, or it's like specifically John Walker like talking to Bob, and he just is like telling him to shut up or telling him something.
I'm gonna start going by Robert. I've had it. That's what my driver's license says.
So
that's funny, man.
Yeah, it's really funny. But the way he becomes Sentry is basically he's just been through a lot in life and was just trying to figure out what he was going to do next. And then you later find out that he comes from an abusive home. So he's just like this really like lost person, stumbles upon this Sentry project, which you get the super soldier serum. And it kind of leads with the Valentina. This was her project and it failed. Like everybody that took the serum like had died. And so it was like whatever Steve Rogers got of the serum, when they tested on these people, they got like 1,000, 2,000 times more than whatever Steve Rogers got.
Oh, wow.
So all these people died. So she like hid it. She kept it secret. This guy somehow survives. And it just is kind of, the movie's just kind of going on. And he's just still, he was like a meth addict at one point, which was like pretty dark.
Yeah.
Comes from an abusive home, just like a really dark like history. And just struggling with like finding his place in the world, and stumbles across the Thunderbolts, who are also kind of feeling the same way.
Yeah.
And the Void is kind of this entity that lives within him, that is kind of where the powers come from. And when he starts messing with his powers is when the Void can kind of like take control. And so there's just this scene and where he's fighting the manifestation of the Void, and he's just going to town on him, just like weeping. And the ending, you don't care about spoilers, right?
No, go for it.
Okay. Yeah. And so the ending isn't the Thunderbolts coming to fight the Void with him. It's, and the Void is like it's like a shadow version of him. Okay. So the way that the Void is like revealing his physical presence is literally just like a dark shadow of the silhouette of the actor or of Bob. And so as he's like got this dude mounted and just like wailing on the Void, they're all kind of like, the Sentry had kind of like, got all of the Thunderbolts like strapped to the wall with like metal, and they're all like kind of stuck, and they're just like watching Bob, beat up the Void, but the Void is like slowly taking over Bob. And so you can see Bob then like started to become shadowy, starting at the legs.
Wow.
So then there would be like two, Void entities. And with the help of Red Guardian like helps Yelena Belova become like unbound. Unbound from the metal that was holding her back. And she runs, and then everybody else kind of gets loose. But she's the first one to get to him, and instead of jumping on him and like beating up the Void, she just hugs him. And then the rest of the team, one by one, they all just come and they just start hugging Bob. And it's just like this crazy emotional moment. And for me, in like 2023, a little bit of 2024, I was struggling just really bad with my anxiety. Like, and it was just like, it was tough. The days were tough. The days felt long. Just felt like I was never gonna, I just felt like this is how like the rest of my life was gonna be. And so to just like watch him just like beating up this dark version of himself.
Yeah.
And then just
losing
the
battle.
Yeah. And then just for him to just be like receiving like love in that moment, it got me real good.
That's really, because and again, I obviously haven't seen the movie, but just the themes here, the sometimes we can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we need somebody to step in, and maybe some buddies to step in. We, especially in issues of mental health, because the devastation, the destruction is internal. It's the lies we tell ourselves. And how do we, what's the cure for that when you don't trust your own voice?
Yeah.
You need something external to come alongside and be there for you. And sometimes it's not, here's the magic words.
Yeah.
It's just, let me put my arm around you. Ooh, it's getting me, and I'm only just talking about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a beautiful scene that mirrors the intro of the movie, but basically the Void has completely taken over, and he's just voiding all of Manhattan. Like the city is just being taken over.
I've seen the scenes like where he just does this, and
there's
there's just shadows on the ground.
Yeah. So just now it's just like taking over like buildings. Like it's just the Void taking over.
Wow.
And it's funny to go back to when we were talking about Daredevil. when it was like, dude, where is Spider-Man? Like, this is your city. Like, we're all big Daredevil fans, but like Manhattan, like that's your city, bro. Like, where, like,
this is my city.
so now it's like Spider-Man, like you're the protector of the city, and then like all the memes like after this movie is like Spider-Man being a bum again, like Manhattan just being like, where is this dude?
I'll take another Manhattan, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just being a bum. So, anyways, all of Manhattan's just getting covered by the void, and so there's when you see it, it's just this crazy scene. I can't spoil this moment. You have to see this moment. Okay. But anyways, there's a point where the void is coming across, and Yelena is staring into it. And at this moment, there's been moments where they've like touched Bob even before he's even like Sentry or like realizes his powers, and they go into their own void, which is like a traumatic moment of their past.
Yeah.
Oof. And so we see some of that with John Walker. We see some of it with Yelena. And so she kind of knows what's on the other side. And so all of the other Thunderbolts are like kind of saving people and getting people. They're like, yeah, get them off the street. Like, and so Yelena's just like staring at it. And her dad, Red Guardian, sees her and is like yelling, like calling her to go back. And Bucky is like stopping him. And then she just steps into the void. And because she knows like this is the only way to like get him out. So she steps into the void and she's faced with all of her trauma, right? She's a Black Widow. She's Red Room.
She's with the Red Room, yeah.
It's horrible. Like a thing like that.
From childhood.
Yeah.
And she's her family ripped apart like 3 different times.
Yeah.
Right?
And so and even the heinous things, you know, if you've seen the Black Widow movie, like they have to do some horrible things. They've been through horrible things. So she's facing like all of this trauma. And then the Thunderbolts had made their way in there. Because I think it was like Bucky who was like the most veteran of all those heroes.
Yeah, right.
They're like, well, we can't go in there. And he's like, hey, if she stepped in there, like she knew she could accomplish something pretty much. So we end up finding that they all go in there. So they have to navigate through all of their trauma. And then they find Bob, and Bob is sitting in the attic, and he's just like, oh, hey guys. And he's just sitting crisscross in an attic. And they're kind of like, all right, like, well, like, are we good? Like, what is this? And he's like, yeah, this is just the safest place. And you end up finding out like Yelena like looks down on the floor, and there's like a little crack between the wood panels on the floor. And she can see, and you can hear Bob's dad abusing his mom and then getting ready to abuse him. And they just go on this like journey together of just pushing through all of their trauma together to get out.
Okay, that's I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And I know that part of the Moon Knight season 1.
Oh,
I loved it.
Episode 5. Yeah.
Episode 5. The origin of his split personalities, where so they did it really well then.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been asking for, right? We've been asking for a movie that is more than only the superhero stuff. Like, we love it. We love the action scenes. We love the funny one-liners. We love the just the bigness of it all.
Yeah.
But what we felt has been missing of late has been the emotional touchstone that these are humans for the most part that are thrust into positions of being heroes, but they're still humans, and they have relationships, and they have pasts, and they have problems, and we're just not getting that, which is ironic because that's what was unique about Marvel when it came out.
Yeah.
Over DC, that DC was just the big, Superman and Green Lantern. But what Marvel did was they made him human. But that's been somewhat missing in the movies. So this is a really encouraging thing to hear.
Yeah.
Because we're all looking at the reboot, and Thunderbolts, as you've said earlier, is the first foray into the reboot. And we're wondering, all right, the Captain America 4 was the last one that kind of had to cycle through. Now we're going to get a whole bunch of, it's a new creative vision. What are we going to get?
Yeah.
So it sounds like what we're getting is what we've been hoping to get.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the writer and director is Jack Schreier. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. and or I think he's a co-writer. There's a couple other writers, and they're from the A24 like film, which are kind of like notorious for being. I mean, they're the ones who put out like original movies. Like they're not putting out IP. And so Jack Schreier, he and the writers come from the show Beef, which I don't know if you ever saw. It's on Netflix. It's an A24 TV show. It might be the first time they've done shows, and it's a really good show. It's one season only. It's got like 7-8 episodes, something like that, and it starts out with just two people who are kind of going through it in life, and then they get into like a just like a road rage situation in a grocery store parking lot.
Oh yeah, I saw the previews for this.
Yeah, and it just kind of starts this like feud and rivalry. And there's a scene in that show which the male lead, Steven Yeun, who was actually supposed to play Sentry, but then when the strikes happened and they had to like move stuff around, he couldn't do it anymore. So then they recast. Lewis Pullman did excellent, by the way. Steven Yeun would have been just as great. But Steven Yeun was the male lead in the Beef show. And just as the show goes on, you kind of realize it's more than like road rage. There's a lot of like just life that's like had built up to that moment, even though they still have this ongoing feud and they're still trying to get each other. But he just is kind of like turns out he's like a scam artist, and he'll do like construction and paint jobs and like scam people. So he ends up scamming this church, this Christian church that like he had connections with. And he attends one of their like worship services. They're like, oh, like, you know, come on in. And I might be butchering a little bit because I saw it when it first came out. And he goes in and he's like, yeah, all right. And he's sitting in on the worship segment. And it's a very popular Hillsong song that comes on that I'm sure everybody would, or at least if you're like in like a Christian or like in church circles, you would recognize the song. And he just starts just sobbing. And it's this really like emotional moment in the show.
He's trying to be a scam artist and yet he's affected.
Yeah, and it's really good. And so that when I realized it was this guy, I immediately thought of that emotional moment from Beef, and I was like, oh, this is gonna have some like strong emotional beats, and yeah, they did, definitely did.
Wow.
So I highly recommend anybody. I mean, it's a different type of superhero movie. We do get an answer to why it's called Thunderbolts asterisk.
Yeah, right. I was going to ask about that. We get an answer?
There's kind of two reasons why.
Okay.
You'd say this for the movie. One of them, it's kind of like literally the last second of the movie. Okay. You get like one of the reasons, but the other one is kind of like there's an endearing reason why they're called the Thunderbolts. Okay. Then it's not connected to Thunderbolt Ross or any comic history of like Thunderbolts. It's not.
What about Valentina? Because she's popped up in so many movies, just kind of almost like in a cameo. And there's all these threads. Do they all come together in this movie? Or do you get any explanation about that, or is it still kind of nebulous?
Yeah. So there's like so the movie opens with this monologue from Yelena Belova talking about purpose, how she doesn't feel the purpose anymore. Right? She lost her sister.
Yeah.
She lost her family, and she's just kind of like she's a shadow op, and she's just trying to figure out kind of like what she is doing in life, and like, is this her purpose? And so it kind of starts with that, and then you realize she's a shadow, or then it's revealed that she's a shadow op for Valentina, and she calls Valentina after this monologue and after this job she does, and she's like, and after talking, she goes and visits Red Guardian, and there's some really sweet moments between her and her dad, like where she's just talking about she doesn't feel like herself, and she just doesn't know what to do. And yeah, he talks about like there's this like really sweet moment where he's like she walks in the house and he kind of like immediately like pins it on her, like the light that was in my little girl, like I don't know where that is. Like it's gone. And then there's a scene where he catches up with the rest of the Thunderbolts for the first time, and he interacts with her, and he's like, I see the light again. Like it's and she's like acting, she's like, no, she's like we're just trying to, like, we just had to escape, like we're just trying to survive. And He's like, no, like I see the light in you. It's back. So there's some really sweet interactions between like father daughter.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be drawn to that.
Yeah. But so she calls after talking with her dad. She calls Valentina. She's like, hey, like I kind of just. She's like, one of the things regarding tells her is like, he said, I felt most purpose in my life when I was like working for my country, and kind of like, I was the Red Guardian and I was front facing. And so she's kind of like, maybe I should do more like hero stuff, like front facing. And so she goes Valentina and she's like, she's like, I kind of want to quit, or I want to do more front facing. And she's like, well, that's not really you, but she's like, all right, we'll do this one more job for me. And if you complete it, then I'll give you. So she sends her this place, and it turns out Valentina has been on a trial for some stuff, and she's kind of like scrambling to kind of get it all pushed under the rug or eliminated. So she sends Yelena to this vault, and she's like, there's going to be somebody there. Just take them out, kill them. They're trying to steal some stuff from me. And then after that, you'll be good to go. Turns out Valentina's sending like all of her shadow ops all to kill one another. And the vault is going to, as like a backup, the vault has a bunch of evidence stored that's just going to be incinerated. So whoever the last person alive is would be incinerated. So they get there, and they all kind of like uncover that they're like, we're sent there to die. And so that's kind of like where Valentina's lies start to catch up with her.
Nice.
And that's where they find Bob. And then that's where they make their escape. And then that's where they realize, like, okay, so Valentina's the villain of this whole thing.
Okay.
But they like, she has some like really cool moments. And she's just slimy. She has some like, there's a moment where you think that they have her, and then she flips it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, but it comes with a very satisfactory moment at the end.
Slimy.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't seen it again yet, but I will. My wife and I already talked about it. The last time I saw a Marvel movie twice in the theaters was, actually, I might have seen Deadpool and Wolverine twice. Once, or I might have seen it once. I don't remember. I know for sure I can confirm for certainty I saw Spider-Man, what is it, No Way Home?
Yeah.
I saw that one like 3 times in the theaters.
The big question is, are you going to get the Red Guardian popcorn head?
No, they didn't have it at our theater.
Okay.
But I'd have to say, so people are saying this is the best movie since Endgame. I would definitely agree. I would even take it a step further, that Infinity War and Endgame aside, because that's like the culmination of 10 years of movie making and storytelling. So that's just going to have this like uniqueness to it that other movies don't have. This might be like one of the best solo like movies.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you give it?
There's a couple things I didn't like about it. 9.5.
So that's a recommendation to see it.
Yeah, I mean, there's really just 2 things in it that, one of them is just annoying. The other thing, and I won't mention it because if you didn't see it, if you didn't catch it,
okay,
good for you. And the other thing is, the vault is in this desert area, and I just feel like they spent a little too long there. Like, I feel like they could have left a little sooner.
Okay,
but that's
minor. Yeah,
it's like, but maybe that's just because it's the desert.
Well, man, I was thinking I wasn't gonna. Man, now I really want to find a way to see it, but I've got 1 week before I leave the country, and about 3 weeks of work to do in a week. So I don't know, but I'm gonna try. I mean, if things break right and I can get away to see it, I'll do it. But I don't know. But because if I don't, that's it. I'll have to rent it or whatever.
Yeah.
Does anybody rent anything anymore? I realized I really dated myself when I said that.
Yeah, you did.
There's no renting it. It'll show up on Disney. Yeah.
There's 2 post-credit scenes.
I'm gonna go to Blockbuster.
Two? Yeah.
Oh, all right.
One of them is like a funny little just Red Guardian moment. Just funny. And then the last one, it's not just a post-credit scene. It's a scene. It's like a 3-minute, it's 2.5 to 3 minutes long. And this is all I'm going to say. It takes place 14 months after the movie. And the discourse online about this post-credit scene is, it is the best post-credit scene of all time.
Whoa. Wow. Okay.
And I won't say anything more than that.
So don't leave the theater.
It's like at the very, very end.
Even if you really have to go, hold it.
And if you go watch it, well, I guess if I'd spoiled almost the whole movie. But I guess for you, because
I don't feel like you spoiled the movie. I'm ready to go watch it. So
well, if you're just looking through the credits, don't look at the credits, because there's like a spoiler in the credit for the last post-credit scene.
Oh, okay.
Just because of, using things and crediting.
I'll use that time to pick up all my trash in the
Yeah. So just look at your phone or whatever. But I would say, I would even say 9.75 at it, like 9.8.
Wow, that's high praise,
like,
man.
And I think it's just because like I also just like, it really just resonated with me, and just that feeling of like me just battling against my anxiety for what felt like a year, or what was a year that felt like an eternity.
For that. A day is too long for that.
Yeah. So I think it just emotionally was just kind of something that I needed to see with this. It's been a significant amount of time since I feel like I've like come out of that. And so now that's just like confidently in my past, with moments that come up here and there or whatever, but something that's not consistently in my life like it used to be, and that I look back on, and then just seeing something like this, like while I'm out of that, is just like, yeah, it's just like one of those things that's like, wow, like that almost felt like it was made for me.
Wow.
So
I love those moments when in movies or art in general.
Yeah.
That's really what art's all about.
Yeah.
It's finding those axiomatic moments where you can connect with something because it's true, and it's true for you, and you see the truth in it, and you see yourself. No two people are going to have the same experiences, so no two people are going to see it the same way, and it can't catch everybody. But when it catches you, it becomes instantly a favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, like when I grade it on Letterboxd, it's going to be a 5-star or a 4, whatever the max. It's 4 or 5 star. Yeah. It's going to be a max. Like I'm going to give it, like my nitpicking of it is not going to matter when I grade it on short. Like I'm going to give it the full thing. Yeah. There's also this really cool, this is the last thing I'll say about the movie. So John Walker just doesn't like Bob off the rip, and is like really like suspicious of him. Yeah. And
John Walker's a kind of unlikable guy.
Yeah.
He's arrogant, and anyway, sorry.
Yeah. And he's like him and Red Guardian are like the funniest people in the movie. Like they're hilarious.
Red Guardian is hilarious.
Yeah. but he's just like, he's suspicious of this guy who's like in this vault where they were all sent to like kill each other pretty much. And he's like, how did he get in here? Why is he here? And, he's the one who's like telling him, he's like, hey, keep quiet, Bob. And like saying those things. And as far as somebody like my wife who has literally no clue who Bob is in the century, just thinks he's just some captive prisoner down there. So it's like, yeah, like this guy's being an a-hole to Bob.
Yeah. Have some compassion.
And so there's some moments in there where like Yelena kind of like goes up to him and is like, hey, like you good? And he's just like, yeah, he's just an a-hole. And then there's a moment where the Void, he interacts with John Walker. Like I think he might have touched Bob or something. And you find out that John Walker, post the events of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, is a deadbeat dad and a horrible husband. And just take him to this moment where his wife is asking him like, hey, can you watch the kid? And he's just like scrolling on his phone, reading like news headlines of like U.S. agent and like failed Captain America. And he's just like reading about like actual doom scrolling on himself. And she comes to the room and she's like, can you watch like our kid? And he's like, I'm watching my kid. Like, this is how I'm watching my kid. If you don't like how I watch my kid, then you watch the kid. And so she picks the kid out of the crib and then he just walks out and leaves. And when he comes out of the void, he was like walking towards a cliff, like, and so they stopped him, and they were like, "What? Are you okay?" And so you just kind of like, oh, this guy's, he's an a-hole, and he's just like this deadbeat. And then he goes on this like arc in the movie, and then when they're in Bob's void, and where they go down, so when they're in the attic, and then they go downstairs, and one of the things that in that scene that he tells the younger Bob is like he tries to step up for his mom, the kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, look at you, the hero." And so then they walk down and they can interact with the people in the void. So he turns around and he sees everybody. Without hesitation, John Walker just punches the heck out of Bob's dad.
Nice.
And so it's like just like this full circle of like this self-realization.
In a sense, punching himself. Punching the part of him that he's ashamed of.
Totally.
Wow, that's cool. That's good.
It's like being heroic for Bob, for this dude that he's treated poorly this entire movie. It was such a good moment.
Wow. And you for that to work, it has to be earned. It has to be earned by what comes before. And that's where movies often fail is they have this emotional high points, or some of them never do at all, but some do, but they don't earn them, so they still fall flat. But when you earn it and then you deliver it, it's magic.
Yeah, it's so good.
Man, okay, that's good. I'm really happy to hear this. I was so worried that it was going to be, and you had prognosticated that this may be the best of the three movies that are coming out. Yeah, and I think it's going to be hard for either FF or Superman to top this one based on what, for you at least, what you've said.
I feel like I can pretty much guarantee at this point that Superman is not going to be better than this movie. I will plant my.
I don't think it's going to aim to even try to hit those emotions. I think it's going to hit one. It might not be a bad note, but and I think it'll be good. Actually, it's going to be the like we're all on the same side. Let's have a feel good movie note. Yeah. And I think we're ready for it. I think it'll be good, but it's not going to be as rewarding, I think, as what Thunderbolts was for you, right?
Yeah. And I think the online chatter for Thunderbolts, it's going to drive more people to see the movie. Yeah. Like, I mean, even us talking right now, you're like, shoot, maybe I should find a way to go see it.
Sure. Yeah, I think,
So I mean, online.
I should check and see if they're going to show it on the plane.
I doubt
I got like 16 hours to kill, man. That's a lot of time. That's a whole Sanderson book on tape. Yeah. Or audible or whatever.
So, yeah, go see it. I think it's really good. Yeah. If you listen this far, I guess I didn't I did give a proper spoiler warning because I asked you. Yeah. I said, you don't mind if I spoil? That was.
And by the way, I have to correct myself. 16 hours on a plane is about 25% of a Sanderson novel.
Yeah, there you go.
What I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Let's be real.
Yeah. Go see it. It's got at least half of the Comic Room Pod approval.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it my approval based on what you said. Yeah. I'm now enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. And then make sure you stick around because the last post-credit scene is a thing.
Yeah.
So
okay, good to know.
Yeah. All right.
This is fun.
We'll be back next week.
Yep.
Next week we'll just be back to full comics. So let's do.
I've got so many things to show. I mean, I could do show and tell for an hour. You guys, I went on a binge. I'm just gonna say it.
And did you get that book?
And it's all Golden Age. Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, I did. I'll say no more.
Yeah.
I'll save it. Check back in a week. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Just if you want to talk about what Mr. Longbox's hauls have been of late.
Well, I was thinking what's gonna be like when you're gone. How are we gonna do show and tell when you're gone? Just gonna have to buy stuff.
I guess I'm just gonna have to go shopping. I mean, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
I guess we'll figure it. I mean, it might just be me doing show and tell here and there.
But I don't know. There's a comic shop. There's a Panini comic shop in Florence. I'm very familiar with it. I've been there, talked to the guy. There's one in Venice, and I'll easily be able to get to both of those. Yeah. Because I have a lot of free time in both those cities. Rome, I'm not sure. I mean, I know there's a comic shop in Rome. I know exactly where it is, but I just don't know if I'm going to have a chance to get there. Yeah. But there's toy shops and figurines. I'm not going to have a problem, dude. Yeah. I'll show you guys something from Italy. I promise.
Next week, let's do head scratchers and sleepers.
Oh, sounds good.
So
which one do you want?
Let's do one each.
Ooh, nice. I like that.
Yeah. One each. Head scratcher, sleeper. So that way we can go fully back to comics. Because I know it's been like a month, maybe even a month.
We had a lot going on.
A lot of Daredevil. I mean, we just that's our guy. So.
Yeah, we had to indulge ourselves.
And then Thunderbolts came out right after. But yeah, I think the Ironheart show comes out soon. Probably while you're gone. So I mean, probably won't be. I feel like there might be an episode where we talk about it because the villain is the Hood.
Okay.
And the Hood gets his powers from Mephisto. So the big question is, will we finally see Mephisto in the MCU?
Sacha
Baron Cohen is rumored. I mean, that's been rumored for ever.
If they don't get him in there, he's going to have to play Mephisto's dad.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Mephisto speculation has been around since WandaVision, which is absolutely hilarious hearing the writers of WandaVision being like, yeah, we just never really thought about him like at all. But just seeing like how many teasers and like they're the devil's in the detail. Like
there was a lot of that stuff popping up.
There was so much Mephisto all over that. And they were just like, yeah, we didn't think about it.
I do think that Silver Surfer 3 is like criminally underpriced today.
It is.
And I'm saying that, and yet I haven't bought it myself. But it's because I have other things that I really want that I've been buying instead. But that book has never not been on my hunt list. It's just there permanently until I get it, or until I don't get it and blow it. And then it's going to move from my want or hunt list to my regret list. So it's first appearance and it's a classic cover.
I have a decent raw copy of that.
Do you?
You might like, yeah.
Let's talk. I might still be in binge mode, you know.
True.
Don't take advantage of me.
Also got this and this and
I
this.
know, right? You pretty much do whatever it is. So, yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel for more. Yeah. If you're listening on audio platforms, thank you. It means a lot to us.
Absolutely.
And any final words?
Thanks for the comments. They're always fun. I always interact back with the comments because they're fun.
Yeah, they are.
I like it hearing from you guys. So don't be shy.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week with Head Scratchers and Sleepers.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, guys.
Peace.